A lot of lessons to take away tonight, and I wanted this one badly for the players, and that's why it stings. Certainly a story tonight of missed opportunities, and I think third down, if I had to look back on it right now, that was the biggest and certainly the story of the game. So a lot to work on, and Tampa was a better team today. You need the struggle to see the identity develop. You don't want it, but you do need it, and that part is hard, and that struggle happened tonight. And so we'll take these lessons and we'll work on them. But before I open it up, I just wanted to give a shout out to Monty Kiffin's family. This was a remarkable coach, and I heard him honored today, and somebody I had a chance to visit with for a long time. So just for his family and all the good that was done here, I wanted to give a shout out to his family. So I'm glad to open up the questions for you guys regarding the game, and let's get it underway.
Coach, with practice limitations, how do you effectively work on tackling during the season?
Yeah, it's actually, you can work on it a lot. And it's usually, not always, but there's two things that come up. One is called tracking, where you're taking an improper angle. The second one is usually involved in taking the next step, in terms of instead of diving or reaching, there's much more power in a tackle that runs through. So we've got work to do in that. You can absolutely work on it without being padded. In fact, OTAs, training camp, all the way through. My experience has been it usually starts a little slower defensively, because you do need to be in these fights, but it is absolutely something that you can work on without being padded, and the tracking and taking the next step is usually the two.
And then how do you feel Jaden did in his first official NFL game?
I thought he got to fully express all the things that he has, of using his legs, being aggressive down the field, and like him, like a number of the players tonight, there's going to be a lot of takeaways and things that we're going to like, things that we want to improve upon. But what I can tell you, we got one hell of a competitor and him, and we're just getting started with him and the guys. That's why when you have a performance like tonight where it doesn't go your way, you want to question how you prepared, and these guys really put it in and we're ready. And so when you don't deliver, when you put the work in, it stings more, and we got work to do for sure. But Tampa was a better team tonight.
He had 16 rushing attempts. I know a lot of that's not by design.
Correct.
How concerning is that, and also the two hits he took, one in the red zone where his helmet came off in the first half, and then one on the second touchdown there where his helmet got popped?
Yeah, we certainly have to talk about from the helmet on that one. But yeah, it's a fair question. Some of the ones we like where he can extend the plays with his legs, that's what does make him unique. But yeah, we certainly don't want the ones that are inside and where helmet gets knocked around. But those are things that we can work through for sure. Go ahead, Nikki. Man, there's a lot to work through there. I think the assessment defensively, Nikki, what I wasn't as pleased with was third down. And that's what I thought was the biggest story of this game, where you get a guy off the spot and the quarterback stays. So that's not a coverage-related one as much as, the second play begins. So I'll have a better answer for you on that tomorrow. I thought early on there wasn't big plays and explosive plays to happen, but then I thought at the end, here we need a stop right here. So the touchdown pass, was one that certainly was, one of the bigger turning points for me. But I think third down overall, collectively defense, not just, from a secondary.
And with Forbes in particular, there was that one play where it's 2 penalties. Just kind of what was your message to him after that, and what did you see on the play?
Yeah, we just rotated people around, and I think it comes from a place of competing and knowing how to, and knowing when to make the right decisions into those spaces. And so that's what we'll work on. Technique-wise, usually you ask a player, what'd you see? And if they know how to correct it already, then you're in a good spot. And that was Ben on the first touchdown to Evans. I need to turn the other way. I need to look, okay, you got it. If you ask a player, and I don't know, that's a bigger concern. And so those guys know the things they need to work on, and that's why it did sting. And there's a lot for us to work on. But third downs, Nick, I would say collectively defensive. I wouldn't put it on one versus the other.
I know you're not in the excuse-making business, but you guys have turned over more than half the roster. The whole staff is different. The guys didn't play a lot of the starters in the preseason to some degree. Is this a little bit of the result of all that happening?
Yeah, fair question, but I honestly thought the preparation was really good. And so going into it, I was expecting us to really, see us hit our marks and going. I just didn't feel the energy, the hitting, and the tackling that I was accustomed to seeing. And so that's the part to make sure that identity is what we're looking for. If that comes to life, then everything else can connect. But for instance, pass rushing in concert and working together, those things take some reps together in the games, and I certainly expect that to improve.
I assume Brian Robinson epitomize what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Man, is he tough. And I just, seeing him come off the field, the energy he brings. I think for a lot of people, they didn't know Brian was the receiver that he is as well. And I think you guys have, because you've been at practice and you've seen us utilize him in that way. And so he and Austin, they're a really good combination together and bring different things to the team. So in the light of the disappointment that this locker room feels, we're going to take the lessons and we're going to find out the things that we need to improve on and work our butt off getting those parts right.
The months of work that you guys have put in, what did you tell this squad after this game? Obviously, as you said, it's tough.
Yeah, I said to them, you do have to take the lessons from tonight, otherwise the pain's not worth it. And so if you don't take them, you're going to keep repeating them and you'll just be pissed about it. So I said, we have to learn these lessons, and that's what we do. We teach and we get better, and this team is going to get a lot better. We're not going to be the same team tonight that we are, down the line. That's why I said Tampa was the better team today. And our guys have a lot of fight. I just thought, man, our opportunities were there to go get it. And when they slip through, Chick, that's the lesson. We got to find the answers, not just, let's try harder, let's get it better.
And I guess it ultimately doesn't matter, but can you take us through the decision process that you made going for the extra point after that touchdown late in the third quarter, which put you down 9 instead of going for the 2-point
Yeah, sure.
conversion at
Yeah,
that point?
I think at that point, still in the third, I knew we'd have probably 3 drives left. If it had been into the fourth, I likely would have, because if you don't get it, then you're on the other side of that too. So that's why. And so, if you're later, but I thought we still had a couple of drives left. I thought that might be stretching it or pushing it just a little bit. Just because you go for it doesn't mean you're going to make it all the time. And we have a good one that we had planned, so I was hoping to keep that one in the pocket and use it later. So nothing more than that. Just thought we'd have a couple more drives left. Fair question, but I didn't think it was there just yet.
Cade missed 2.
Go ahead, I'll take you right here.
Tampa was down 2-3 defensive line with injury. Did they just do a good job of covering that and not letting it be?
Yeah, I thought Todd and their guys showed a lot of toughness because they brought some defense linemen up. They actually had some injuries in the secondary at corner, and so that shows good tough team that they're ready to step in and go. And that's our game, isn't it? Where people go down and it's hard, and you don't just go next man up. It's nice to say, but you got to deliver on it. And so to see those guys really come through, Todd and George and their staff, and I'm not surprised. The guys they called up played well.
Cade missed 2 field goals.
Yes. Yep.
We expect to see another kicker in camp.
I think we'll have a good talk about that, see where we're at. Let's look into what next week looks like, Chick, and go from there. I think what I have seen is talent, to make sure this guy's got an incredibly strong leg. That's why, the decision to go for the one, I think at the 37, it felt good from the distance standpoint. And I thought we needed to give ourselves a spark. And so when those go the other way, kind of like we were talking about, like going for a 2-point or not, and you miss them, it kind of goes. But I thought, the kick out of bounds, the misses, it just, man, like I said, there's a lot of lessons from tonight, and Adam and I have not discussed that at all, and so we'll get into that as we get into the week. It was, all part of it. Like there wasn't one phase that you have to really play at your best, and so tonight, missing those chances, that hurt.
Coach, you did mention that there were going to be some rotations at offensive line.
Yep.
So how do you think that went?
Yeah, so it was good to get, you guys knew Brandon was going to be back in and get going. And so to see that happen, I'm looking forward to watching the tape on that. He played some on both sides because we did some unbalance. So left side, you probably saw him at both tackles, but it was actually some where we moved over. So it was good to get him in the fight and get going, and we'll continue, his trajectory up. But I was pleased to see that, and Trent also worked in some as a big tight end and doing some stuff. So I like that we're using the versatility of the guys, the 2 backs, big tight end. So we'll just keep digging and find our right spaces.
Coach, you said going into the game.
Okay.
You said going into the game that the more disciplined team was going to win. You guys had no turnovers, same amount of penalties on both squads. Do you feel like you had the more disciplined team tonight?
Yeah, discipline will win it, right? That's what I said. I thought it probably goes further than that. Discipline can also mean holding the right leverage, in a coverage. It can mean, the right gap sound. So I'd say it can probably expand bigger. But sometimes one thing compounds the next. And so when the time of possession, for instance, is that out of whack? I think that's directly correlated to third down. And they were probably close to 70%, and we were about 25%. So it wasn't like one team just controlled the ball on first and second down. There were, third down was a big part of this. So I didn't feel we were, out of whack of penalties. We had one that looked bad, blocking back towards the goal line on the long play. But it probably goes deeper than just, penalties and that. Probably the whole thing through.
What do you think of Mayfield?
One more time.
What do you think of Mayfield?
You know what I thought? One, I've always admired the competitor there, and I thought tonight especially he was really effective avoiding on the rush. And so that was the thing that I thought, I don't know how many of the third downs, but him to avoid some sacks to go, and I thought a number of our missed tackles will be on the quarterback, just finishing and taking the extra step. And so those are the things we got to work on. That's our league, with mobile quarterbacks. We got one that made them miss. And so it's part of it, and you got to take the extra step and work it. But, yeah, I was impressed by his game tonight. Him and Mike Evans, the guys that you would expect who are their playmakers, Mike and Chris and some others, running back, there was, some plays to be made. And I thought at the end, in the fourth quarter, just kind of we ran out some. And
Coach, speaking of the pressure on the quarterback, is it more frustrating to not finish those pressures, or is it more encouraging to have the pressures there in the first place, just try to get the guys to finish?
You have to ask me that one tomorrow. Tonight, more frustrating not to finish for sure, because that's the outcome. That's the difference between a punt and a first down. And so there's a lesson there for sure to say that, you're on the right track, but our game and our team is going to be about finishing end of games and halves. And so for us not to nail that and plays, that won't cost us.
Got time for two more.
Jaden's decision-making in particular?
Man, I'll have a better probably feel for you tomorrow, but I do know this. When the chances were there for him to go, I thought, he really nailed it. Like the sack on one, he's not going to like. He's going to want that. Like, there's going to be plays that he's going to want back. That said, like in the game, Nikki, this is like he was exactly the same as back in Ashburn. Confident, strong, clear-eyed about how to go attack, going down to the end. Hey, how about this play? Like he was just thinking and processing quickly. So I'd say, we'll have a better assessment on that tomorrow. But, man, it was right in his wheelhouse.
What do you think Jaden showed his teammates just as a competitor?
I think probably a lot of what they know. Like they have such belief in him. And not just the other quarterbacks. I've told you about a good quarterback room or, other players, but like the guys here believe in him because of the work that he's put in. It's one thing when somebody comes in, but you still have to prove it. But over the time here with these players, they love this guy for what he stands for as a competitor, as a teammate, the work. And so that's why, man, he's going to go big.
Ben, last one.
Dan, I'm just still wrapping your brain around what just happened here, but next week comes quick. The Giants also lost. So I was able to lose it goes to 0-2. How much is that, whatever message you're going to give these guys, does that factor in, or is it what we've got to focus on?
Yeah.
Short-term and can't worry?
Yeah, I think right away, the first thing that comes to my mind, I didn't see any of the scores, but it has to be about us, because if these lessons are not learned and absorbed and taught, then we'll miss it and make some of those same mistakes. So for us, we'll have plenty, as we get into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday on to New York, but Monday and Tuesday is about us and getting our game exactly right. That's what Tell the Truth Monday is for, to own it, say it, teach it, and go through it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, we'll see you back home.